It's going to be a tough battle, I feel like, for sure, as we go into our picks and bans. I do believe on the blue side, that is UQ. You can tell because BJ Jagger is on that side, and he is going to be the player to look out for on the UQ side. If anyone's going to carry them to a victory, my eyes are going to be on him. However, on that red side of RMIT, normally I'd be saying, hey, watch out for this player, or this guy could be good. Everyone looks scary.
Yeah, everyone looks scary for RMIT. So UQ, B Jagger, and Keegan in the mid lane, I think those are the two people we're going to be looking out for specifically. I think that those two players could have a potential to put UQ back in this game because, let's be real, depending on how RMIT drafts, they realistically shouldn't be losing lanes based on individual skill. However, they have already picked themselves just a easy, just farm lane.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit surprising to see priority on a Maokai Udyr. That makes a bit more sense. Yet that's not the only surprise from RMIT, as they opted to skip a ban, actually. That wasn't a misban. They clicked the skip button. So a little surprised to see that as we are flying through this pick and ban phase right now. Absolutely. I feel like there is a chance that these guys may have, you know, sort of either pre-planned things out, might have come into this one a little bit more prepared. Either way, the lineup that we're getting out of this UQ side is looking very divey.
Yeah, both of these team comps are very heavy on the fighting. However, the UQ team comp that they've drafted so far is just rapid go buttons. Just Nocturne Shen, similar to the Hecarim from last game. It's teleport, dive in. Syndra there to back up, obviously. And meanwhile, for the side of RMIT, they have a much slower fight in terms of what they're wanting to do, but my god, is it going to be hard to kill. And we do see the Orianna Jinx hypercarry combo does make it through the bans. And is that an oversight from UQ, especially seeing the potency of that that character?
Yeah, that could be the case. Now, what I'm assuming has happened is they did actually opt to pro draft this before coming into the game, just based on the fact that everyone seems to be picking for their roles coming through this as well, and the speed at which we saw this. Normally, there'd be much more discussion. This is the case, as you know, not everyone does have all the champions in their players, so this order that we saw happen right here was not the order that they wound up picking the champions through initially. I can confirm that now. Otherwise, you don't see Seraphine picked last. Like, Seraphine doesn't drop that far, all right? It's a little obvious when these things happen. Some interesting picks, though, did get through, as you mentioned. You do have, you know, the Jinx Ori combo. Seraphine, arguably the strongest, most impactful character in the game as well. That's going on the UQ side. Personally, I'm excited to see a Nocturne, but also personally, I'm not too excited to see an Ashe. I don't know. This is a very hard draft to analyze.
Yeah, specifically for UQ, they have a lot of go buttons that have been made more available in the recent patches. Obviously, Ashe's cooldown has been reduced by a substantial amount. So by the 20-minute mark, 30-minute mark, or 20-30-minute mark, that Ashe ulti is down to almost a 30-second cooldown. And they're just going to be throwing enchanted crystal arrows across the map. Meanwhile, that RMIT, their team comp is scary, scary if you are UQ, especially seeing as they've drafted a engaged team comp into a very engaged, just anti-engaged team.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, a little bit difficult at times for the UQ to possibly find those engages, yet it's not as anti-engaged as we saw in our last game, and I do feel there's going to be a few more avenues in. The Udyr in particular, super strong early mid-game and just sort of establishing that jungle tempo and finding that pressure, but when it comes to those team fights, can fall down a bit. So when I sort of look at these two teams right now, I definitely feel there are going to be avenues for UQ to get in this. However, are they going to be competitive enough when they get to those sort of team fight stages? Because RMIT, this team has the potential to be fast and furious, and I could see them taking this game over in the first 10-15 minutes and never allowing UQ an even sniff at getting to that back line.
Yeah, I feel that the Udyr's main role in this game is going to be get those early advantages for your hyper carries, that mid and that bot lane. Get as many advantages as you can, shut down the Nocturne, and then effectively act as a glorified ball delivery system. Get that turbo chem tank and just run as fast as you can into the backline of UQ and just allow that shockwave to just decimate the UQ team.
Why are we giving bears, you know, chemicals to make them run faster? I mean, they're scary enough as is. There's something intrinsically wrong about this that I almost take offense to. However, you know, we're going to see how it all plays out in just a few moments. Before we get into the match, though, we do have a quick few words from our sponsors, so stay with us all. We'll be back on Summoner's Rift when we return.
Pressure put on by the side of UQ, and the head not strong enough to crack the armor plating of that tower. Chilling, actually, I really like the flash ulti there from Chilling to get that shutdown onto the Udyr. Really good, got the pressure back onto the side of UQ. Overall, this feels like a very ping-pong back-and-forth game. When RMIT makes a good play, UQ makes one back. That being said, so far, the team fights are pretty much, they're not ping-ponging. And that's the problem.
No, the team fights aren't ping-ponging, and neither are the neutral objectives right now. And this is kind of leading towards RMIT establishing themselves a smallish gold lead for the time being. Where this is most significant is in that bot lane, and this could be devastating for UQ in the future. I mean, you can just see a 40 CS differential right now between two bot laners, not to mention 1 kill over none. That's a fair chunk of change right now going over to Frost, and this will be seen in our next few team fights. If they're proper 5v5s, if Soy and Keegan can't find a way to just burst down Frost should have the damage to absolutely run rampant over UQ, and this will be a significant issue pretty much every Dragon fight from this point moving forwards.
Yeah, especially as we see that they have just picked up that Kraken Slayer. Meanwhile, Lithium Lead's still sitting on the Noon Quiver, so the damage difference between the two of them is going to be pretty big. As we do see an invade here from Udyr. Gonna run away in that bear stance. The ulti comes down.
That is a very aggressive ulti. Soy took some serious offense to having his jungle stolen, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow will not connect. And look how fast this Udyr is. It is not fair. He's might get away. Soy really wants it, but has to give up. You know what? I am frustrated and angry on behalf of all Nocturne mains right now. That is cruel. It is unusual. Riot. Why? Why do you do us to us, Nocturne Mage?
That is 3 ultimates blown and pressure across the map lost for nothing because they weren't able to get that kill. They fired the Ashe ulti, it missed. They used the Nocturne ulti, it wasn't enough. They used the Stand United to get there, and it still was not enough.
Self-shockwave to try and stop this teleport play from B. Jagger, and it actually might follow through. Scatter of the Weak does connect, and the Unstoppable Force doesn't get the kill either. UQ, how great would that Infernal Drake have been right now, because they're just unable to secure anything. Still looking for the fight. The Encore comes through, doesn't connect with anyone. Black Phoenix will get out alive, and this is just heartbreaking for the UQ side.
Yeah, I think we should rename UQ to Get Smart, because they missed it by that much every time. They are missing it by quite literally a millimeter every single fight. That's 2 kills on 2 carries that just have not gone through, and that is the most tragic thing. Like, fool me, like, it happens once, that's sad enough. It happened twice in a row in the... that's just tragedy.
It is tragedy, and unfortunately for UQ, they needed those picks. They needed those kills, because this is a team that is required to snowball through this mid-game if they're going to have any chance once we get late. As all this is happening, RMIT are continuing to expand their gold lead because they're investing themselves into these lanes. They're getting the farm. They're getting the experience. UQ is chasing kills that they're unable to secure. They're not keeping pace. And again, I keep going back to this. As the game progresses, well, in fact, as the game progresses to this Dragon fight right now, we might see the implications. UQ, they're going to try and fight this. They're going to try and force them off, but I just don't think they have the damage to do it.
Well, especially seeing as they just blew a couple of ultis. Seraphine ulti is still down from that bot fight. They have
Here they go. Paranoia does try to get the jungler off the play. Meanwhile, diving deep is Ranker, and he's holding UQ back. Meanwhile, the front line, they get the death sense, and they get the kill onto B. Jaeger, and that opens up the floodgates, and here comes Frost. We said this Jinx would do damage. How does a quadra kill sound to prove my point? That is a big play from RMIT, and the reward is an Ocean Drake.
Yeah, the reward is an Ocean Drake, and what do we tell you about the Jinx and the Orianna just hyper carry combo? The damage the Orianna puts down with that shockwave, combined with the just straight DPS of the Jinx in rocket form, just decimates the side of UQ, and that, I think, right there, that is the floodgates opened.
Absolutely, and you saw it with that death sentence as we take a look at the replay right here. It was a desperation play, I feel like, out of UQ, but look how much damage Ranker is taking just in that front line. You know, 3 people on him. He's fine. He's laughing. He's a Maokai. You can't cut down this tree. And with all the attention on him and not on Frost, this Jink runs rampant. We see that gold lead in effect. RMIT play out that team fight exactly like we feared they would.
Yeah, they played it out exactly as they needed to. And here's the scary part now. RMIT, 4 minutes away from an Ocean Soul on their team. Already disgusting enough when you consider the survivability of that Maokai in the top lane. Combine that with the Ocean Soul is going to be a pretty much borderline impossible front line to kill. And if we look at the items, Jinx has hit that magic 7.1k.
Oh, here we go, though. It's a desperation play. Paranoia with the Stand United. Do they have the damage? They even throw an Encore down, and it takes 3 ultimates to put Frost away. But now they have to worry about the re-engage because that is a very, very fast Udyr. Shinichi gets to that backline. Death Sense doesn't connect, but neither does the Enchanted Crystal Arrow as a teleport is coming through. That's right. Here comes another Black Phoenix to join the play as the volley will hold RMIT back temporarily. Black Phoenix gets a 3-man Shockwave, but the rest of the team wasn't there to follow it up. Black Phoenix is running in, goes golden, but it baits UQ forward. In fact, they go too far forward, and now the bodies start to fall. 2 more kills picked up for RMIT as UQ is forced to escape, hobble really away to safety.
Yeah, and RMIT has the agency here to just push down this lane if they want to, but they're just going to reset, I believe, get some gold. They even have that Herald on the Udyr, so they have the luxury of just being able to crack any tower they want right now. And they're just going to take as much resources away from the side of UQ and just take advantage of that beautiful, beautiful fight. Black Phoenix, just no fear, running directly into the enemy team.
The stopwatch play was the goal from the moment he started pressing forward, and UQ fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. They lose that fight after getting the pick on who has to be their target priority, but now I think they're starting to realize, hold on, if we blow everything on one champion, how do we deal with the rest of them? But then if we deal with the rest of them, how do we deal with this one champion? It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, and RMIT, they're loving every moment.
Yeah, and unfortunately for UQ, it does lean slightly more to that damned side there, as, like you said, they got the engage on the priority target. Everything went according to plan, and they still lost. They lost without Frost there, DPSing. The parry of RMIT, the ADC, was not there, and they still couldn't get the job done. And if that is not scary, and if that's not worrying for the side of UQ, especially with Baron spawning and a minute away from Soul Point, I don't know what else is alarming.
There's a reason why I have dubbed RMIT my tournament favorite right now, and we're seeing it. Yeah. We're seeing it play out. Granted, UQ, they've had a few moments. They've been able to, not get completely whitewashed in these fights. They are finding picks every now and then. I just feel like if they're going to come back with the team composition that they have, it will involve a fair few missteps from RMIT. Nearly at a 10k gold lead, sitting at about 8 at the moment, but that's going to be before they secure this Baron, which they're going to be starting up right about now. Things are only going to get worse for UQ moving forward, and again, it comes down to finding sort of this dream pick, this dream fight, capitalizing on an egregious error. Otherwise, RMIT should, in theory, be able to control this game.
And the worst part is you've got Udyr, not Udyr.
Oh, Death Sentence on to Wee Chillin, who is going to be chilling his way back into that jungle, but it does pull RMIT off Baron.
Okay. Interesting decision there. I was going to say that the fact that they have the Maokai down in bot lane means that if they do manage to get this that Baron and force B Jagger up to that fight, they can just instantly push down an inhib. But instead, they decide to pull off 36 seconds away from that dragon. They're probably just going to try and capitalize, catch them out on that rotate to dragon, and then get both objectives, 2 for the price of 1, and a team fight ace to get.
That seems pretty strong to me. Let's see if they'll be able to pull it off. The theory is there, but it's all about the practice as well. 17 seconds till this Ocean Drake appears on the Rift. It is an Ocean Soul up for grabs. And dare I see, probably the game up for grabs if RMIT are able to secure it. UQ, what do they have in the tank? What can they pull off for this miracle play?
Yeah, when you consider the fact that Jinx with that... Oh, actually, that's...
Yeah, Lithium is caught by the Death Sense, and that could be it. Yes, the Paranoia will get to the back line, but the damage has been done. Lithium no longer in the fight as everyone is scattering, and every sort of scattered, frayed fight is going RMIT's way. Flaying Soy back into the mosh pit on the river. You can see that B Jaeger trying to escape. He does not. Another Death Sentence will help bring down Wee Chillin', and a disaster for UQ as RMIT can now march straight down the middle of the Rift.
Yeah, they did manage to get that Shelly down. They're actually not going to. They're going to turn themselves back onto the Baron, but Shelly is just getting 3 hits onto that tower, Keegan can do what they can, but that is a very tanky tree.
Yeah, as you can see, not much you can do at this stage. Baron should be secured in theory. Boy, I wish UQ, you know, I'm sure they're thinking, oh, if only we had the Jinx, maybe we can pull off a sneaky steal. That's not going to be the case. They are going to try and rush to that Ocean Dragon and try and stop the Soul. That's all well and good. Yet even with that next Ocean Drake secured, if they lose the next fight, they lose the game.
Yeah, so although they may have just, you know, they might win the battle and stop that Soul point, they end up losing the war because they still lose the Baron. And RMIT, looking at just how they've been putting pressure around the map, the Baron is actually the scarier objective right now because, yes, the Soul Point's great. It keeps them alive. RMIT hasn't been threatened enough for the Soul to even matter. Yeah. If they were getting low and the fights were getting close, the Soul Point would be so impactful. But they're just really not getting that low. That, like, Frost isn't getting touched. So at this point, the Baron was actually the more important objective to deny there.
What I find interesting, too, is looking back at that last team fight as well, normally when things sort of get split up like that, one skirmish will go in favor of one team, the other skirmish will go in favor of the other team. You sort of get like an equal balance with the little fights breaking out. But all three of those fights were going RMIT's way, and like dramatically so. Yeah. It feels like UQ is really stuck in this awkward position where they cannot do too much of anything. Granted, I think they should have just given up on the play the moment Lithium got picked out right there. But Soy decided to try to turn that into a commit, try to save his teammate. And while I respect that and admire it, it wound up costing UQ, I feel like, a lot more. Now their base is in threat of being broken open. Now this game is in threat of actually falling to absolute pieces. As RMIT, they are 5 members strong on the bot side, and they are hungry to end this match.
Yeah, and they have the resources and the abilities to do it between the Shockwave, between just the Maokai ulti. They have the resources to siege if they so wish. If that cannon just stays alive, they can just sit there.
Shockwave does get Keegan, and that involves the paranoia. You have to stand united with him, but it doesn't matter because he's already dead. That said, the Twisted Advance actually went backwards out of Ranker, and that was a little bit awkward. It's not a perfect game anymore for RMIT. They did flub one ultimate, but I don't think it matters too much. That said, Flash Death Sentence also misses. Sad B, I agree. Inhibitor will fall next, and with the base cracked open, yeah, Scatter of the Weak hits Sanichi, but that's not going to do anything to stop RMIT for looking at that next tower in mid.
Yeah, they're just going to turn their objective. They're going to go from that bot to that mid, probably even to that top if they need to. They've got 3 minutes to play around with this UQ team. Either they win by a fight breaking out and they just delete the team.
I think they just win, because look at the region they have already. Like, this team is pretty much fully healthy once more. The second inhibitor is gone. Now they're going to back away. Now they're going to reset. One last buy, one last push perhaps, as RMIT are marching their way to a very comfortable victory.
Yeah, I think RMIT wants to make sure that there is no chance for a throw here. They're going to wait for those cooldowns to come back off, get as many items as they can under their belts, and turn themselves either straight back down that mid lane, or they might just end up pushing the lanes back out for that Soul Point to really force the fight, because that is the last chance UQ has to stall the game.
Yeah, it will be, and it's going to be a desperation play, I feel like, out of UQ. I somehow see it playing out the same way as the last ones, though, because I think a similar problem with UQ we actually saw in UWA in our last game, where their team fight and their strategy in these fights are very much, this is what we do, we need to execute it in this fashion, and they've been doing that, and it hasn't been working. That last fight, Soy going down before the Stand United was able to follow through. What more can you do at that stage? Like, that was your card, you played it, and RMIT was like, that's the wrong game. We're actually, we're not playing cards anymore. We're playing chess now, and unfortunately, you've just been checkmated.
Yeah, thematically, UQ's team comp is incredibly similar to UWA's, and unfortunately for them, it's more than themes that are a commonality between these two games, as with that UNSW team, they just had the Caitlyn getting 3 hits for that entire game, and what do we have here? We have a 6-2 Jinx getting 3 hits for the entire fight, not getting touched very much at all. And it seems like a case of deja vu, but these teams have been playing pretty similarly, and overall, it's a very, very rough spot for UQ, as now they are just stuck in their base at the whim of RMIT.
Yeah, as we see a teleport coming through, Black Phoenix just wants to make sure they're around, ready for this last fight. UQ probably will recognize that if this inhibitor falls, so too does their last bastion of hope in this game. And here comes the play. The Stand United into the Paranoia, gets to the backline, and now they get the encore to follow up, but a flashback does not save him, and that gets Frost out of the play. But will it be enough? Keegan tries to get a bit of a scatter of the week from over the wall, yet Sinichi was on that other side. B. Jaeger forced to jump back over, and with the taunt, with the damage, they bring him down. This is the fight UQ needed, as RMIT is now the team running to the hills. UQ pull a miracle out of the hat.
Yeah, they managed to actually execute what they were trying to do. Finally, after so many attempts, the engage onto Frost works, and they do manage to pick them off. And you see that they did manage to actually, Lithium Lead did not go down, so now that advantage is completely flipped on its head. So really, really nice play from UQ. Desperation play at that, but they won the battle, lost the war. They're still gonna get the Ocean Drake. They managed to stall the game. But that's all they've done is stall.
Yeah, okay, so it's like, you know, when you play a game and you fought really, really hard, and then you beat the game and you're like, yes, awesome, I did it. And then your older brother comes in and changes it from easy to hard mode. Well, that's what RMIT is trying to do right now. They're just trying to sort of up the skill difficulty. However, you know, little brother might have a cheeky plan. It's called unplugging the console, and just by showing up, RMIT a little more cautious in how they approach this Ocean Drake.
Yeah, RMIT decided to back off there. I think it's because the fact UQ had many more numbers in tow. They just wanted to let the dragon reset.
Yeah, older brother just brought his friends. RMIT now in full force, and with that Death Sense into the Shockwave, we chill and can't chill no more. No encore going to be available for this fight, which means the Ocean Dragon will be secured.
Yeah, Ocean Dragon will be secured. I don't exactly know if the Shockwave was a necessary commitment to that fight. I believe the Jinx Rocket would have been enough. That being said, they are more than happy to just march their way over, get themselves this Baron, and if this falls to them, it's GG. UQ cannot deal with the minions.
I would argue it's been GG for the past 10 minutes or so.
Hey, they got a good fight. We've got to give them the credit.
Yeah, they fought well, and you know what? They have survived one push, but I think, going back to my brother's reference, older brother was annoyed at the attempt to unplug things, so now not only has he moved the game to hard mode, he's also inverted younger brother's controls. This is, and guess what? That Xbox controller, yeah, it's also third party. It's a Mad Catz. Like, everything is going wrong right now for UQ, and RMIT is about to just, I think, unload all over them.
Yeah, he's taken the player 1 pristine controller and given him the player 2 janky controller, missing a Joy-Con.
You know the one.
Everyone has one.
The sticky buttons, it's that cheap plastic.
The Cheeto Dust bootleg controller.
But without ever having Cheetos, it just naturally feels like that.
It comes out of the factory just covered in something that will never remove. Like, there is no chemical on the planet that can remove what is on that controller.
And that is what UQ has to fight against if they want to win this game. RMIT, here they come, straight down the mid lane highway. They're treating it like the Autobahn. They're zooming it down. And now UQ is going to try to fend, try to fight back, try to survive that inhibitor. Just a speed bump right now for RMIT as they will blast their way through it. Who makes the play? Where do we see that dive? Soy. He's been the engaged tool before with the Paranoia. Now he goes for that backline, does get the Frost, gets the Fear, but going golden is this Frost, and immediately gets charged by the Encore, and once again, they get the pick onto Sinichi. Keegan is in that backline, but Sinichi is too, as we chilling is forced to run away. Lithium lead, found by the ODR, will go down. A double kill for Sinichi. Did he get the triple? I believe so, a triple for this ODR. Not who we expected to pop off in the final fight, but the end result still stays the same. RMIT will win this game, and UQ finally falls.
Yeah, RMIT do end up, they do lose Frost there in the fight, but they're so strong as a team, it does not matter. GG RMIT, GG UQ, as we finish the second game of the Intervarsity Championships 2021.
Second verse, same as the first. The Vive comp, too little, too late to be effective, and although we see key moments where we understand what their team wanted to do, the consistency and the execution in those team fights are what hold them back. Learning points perhaps for UQ, but for RMIT, a class course on why they are our favorites.
Yeah, it's the first notch on their potentially star-studded belt this tournament, as they just, with pretty much emphatic fashion, take down UQ. And overall, very, very similar game to our first one.
It was near parallel. Yeah. Again, I said at the end of that last one, I can't wait for New South Wales to play RMIT. I think that's going to be a banger match, and I'm feeling that even more right now. These two teams could be absolutely stellar if they go up against each other, but at this stage, you have to look at RMIT and where do you find the weakness in their team, because it felt like everyone executed their roles to near perfection. Yeah,
I definitely feel that they played what they needed to do perfectly. The only thing I can say, and we'll have to see throughout the rest of this tournament, is if Ranker in the top lane, if they can play more aggressive champions in that top lane against maybe some of the weaker top laners in this tournament, if they're able to just play some duelists or play some hard bruisers, that could be even more brutal, because that's the only spot right now I can think of that you might be able to take advantage of, is that tanky losing topside.
Yeah, exactly that, and I think Tron the Palm saying it best in the chat right now, actually. Why give Landon his ideal champion? Yes, you know, often you don't look at Maokai as being that meta pick, but in events like this, sometimes if there is someone who is a ideal main, like the champions that they like to focus on, it might be worth that ban, and I know it's painful to be on blue side and ban away a Maokai. Like, that just feels wrong. But this is what happens if you don't. There were so many fights where that Maokai just sat in the back line of UQ, and there was nothing they could do to stop it.
Yeah, literally just sat there and just absorbed HP after HP. I'm sad we didn't get to see just the pure effect of the Ocean Soul. But yeah, this fight, Black Phoenix, shout out to you. MVP play there, just no cares given.
And Wash as well, and every single one of these highlights is just nailing every single death ends. Like, I think we could go on and on about how impressed we are with how RMIT played this game. They executed everything they had to, and it was a strong win for them. Again, for me, watching these next few games, I'm just going to be assessing a lot of these teams and how they are going to stack up to this lineup. I think there's going to be some tough fought battles. I think there are some teams in Group B, might I add, that could possibly contest with them. But when it comes to Group A, they are going to be our current kings. And an emphatic opening statement right now, beating the university that provided us our 4th place team at the end of last year, and they do so, making it look easy.
Yeah, but I will want to give credit where credit is due. UQ did manage to, a couple of times in that game, show what they were going for. You know, they got the Nocturne combos down. They were able to actually get what they needed to do. That taunt is so strong, combined with the Seraphine. Beautiful fight. I believe this is the one that was. I believe this was the one that they actually ended up winning. And we see what they did, and it worked. Yeah. This is what they wanted to do for the rest of the game. It just didn't happen enough.
It only took 4 ultimates.
Yeah.
It only took 4. Yeah. I don't see what the problem is. You just use all 4 of them on Frost, and hey, good things will happen to you. What I love about this last fight was the cheeky stopwatch buy out of Frost as well. That just completely throw UQ off. It shows that RMIT, they also adapt, right? They recognize, oh, they can't kill me if everyone dives on me. I'll just buy the one item that prevents that from happening, and the timings get thrown off, UQ gets thrown off, a triple kill goes to Shinjichi of all people, which kind of caught me off guard, not gonna lie. I thought if anyone would get it, it would be Frost, but end result, as I mentioned before, still is the same. RMIT get themselves a victory. They advance to 1-0 to join the University of